I've never done a live, and this is my first time attempting this. Good evening, everyone. Facebook world, evening, my friends, families, and anyone that's watching me at this time. I just want to take this time out to just put God, who is the center of my life, first, and acknowledge Him for who He is in my life and who He's always been in my life. I'm going to read St. Mark chapter 4 and reading from verse 35 to 41. And the same day when the even was come, he said unto them, Let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? This is the word of the Lord. So Jesus is instructing all of us. He's instructing me, he's instructing you, that we should follow him. He said, Come, follow me, and let's go over to the other side. And I'm saying, where's God taking us? God is inviting us to come with him on the other side, to come with him in the promised world that he had promised unto us. But he said you have to come with him. You have to follow him. And say, he's not saying that you're going on this journey alone. He's saying that he's going there with you. So when he says, come, let us go, it means that it's an invitation for both you and Christ to go together. It's not a journey that you're going to take by yourself. And there are many times in life when we go on our journey and we say we start in a Christian life and we're walking and we're facing the different challenges of life. And we say, Father, I thought you said you're going to be there with me. Where are you in the midst of my storms? Where are you in the midst of my storms? It's just like when he said to the children of Israel, come and follow me. I'm going to take you across the Red Sea. And when they were going through the desert and when they looked at the Red Sea, and they looked and it looked like it was going to be an impossible task for God to take them across the Red Sea. But he gave Moses instruction to stretch his rod, and the Red Sea was parted and they were taken across. So if God is telling you to follow him, you got to trust him that wherever he's inviting you to go with him, that he's going to make the way possible. He's going to make the way possible. And verse 36 said, sending away the multitude. And I'm looking and I'm saying, sending away the multitude. But God is telling somebody, you got to separate yourself from amongst them. You gotta send some of the people who are in your life that don't belong in the life when you're gonna go across with Christ. You gotta separate yourself from them. There's some behaviors that you have that you gotta separate yourself from. There's some things in your life you gotta learn to separate yourself from if you're gonna go on the journey with Christ. There's some things that you're gonna let go of. It might look like you're losing a lot when you're losing you're letting go of some of the persons in your life. You're letting go of some of the things, some of the behaviors that you become so accustomed to. But Christ has said, trust me, come with me. We're going over to the other side. And I'm saying if Christ is going to be in the vessel, you're not losing anything, because anything that you're leaving behind is not worth it. So you're going to trust God and step in that vessel and follow him wherever he's inviting you to go. And verse 37, and there arose a great storm. And I'm saying, in your Christian life, when you walk with Christ, when you decide to follow him in that vessel, he never tell you that there's not going to be storms. And he never tell you that there's not going to be waves. But he said to come with me and trust me that no matter what the storms might be, no matter how the winds might come, no matter how the waves might seem, you just go into the vessel and follow him. Because when you have Christ in the vessel, you can smile at any storm that might come your way. So he said, come. So there might come a lot of winds and a lot of waves that want to separate you from Christ when you decide to go in that vessel. But he says, don't worry about it. And you might think that the water is coming in and say, God, this vessel is gonna sink, it's not gonna make it to the other side. But he's telling somebody, say, come with me. And no matter how you think that life is weighing you down, don't you worry about the weight that is coming on you when you're going across with Christ on your Christian journey. Because there's nothing that can sink the ship that Christ is in there with you. There's nothing that can sink that ship. No matter what might come your way, there's nothing that can sink the vessel once you have Christ in the midst of it with you. There's nothing. So a lot of winds might come, and a lot of winds might come, and they might want to steer you from the direction that Christ is taking you to. And he might be taking you to the east, and the wind is coming from the south and from the west and from the north. And you know, if you look on a boat, and it has sails, it's influenced a lot of times by where the wind is coming from. But I'm telling somebody, don't let the winds take your mind off where Christ is taking you from. Because the winds can't take you to where you're not destined to go. You have to trust who is in the vessel with you. You have to trust who is in the vessel with you. And this verse 38 said he was in the hinder part of the ship, and I'm like, you're in a vessel, and God said to come with me, trust me, you're going with him across the other side. But he's behind you, and he's asleep. And you facing the storm, and you look in the storm, and you feel like you're alone. But I'm telling somebody, if he's in a vessel with you, even if he's not visible to you all the time, you remember who's in that vessel with you. You remember who you're traveling with. Remember who your traveling companion is, that he controls everything. So no matter what's going on around you, if you say, come with me, remember he knows where he's taking you to. And he knows he's in control. So he might look like he's sleeping. He might look like he's not alert and aware of what's going on with you, but he knows. But guess what? The all-knowing God knows that wherever he told you he's going to take you, he is going to take you there. Because his promises are sure. He's not a man that he should lie. So you got to believe him and know that when God is taking you somewhere, he's going to take you there. And any promises that God has made for you, trust me, those are going to be fulfilled. There's nothing that can stop the promises of God because they are true. And they are sure. And he's not a man that he's going to lie. He's not a man that he's going to lie. Because when I looked at it in my Psalms, and I said, Jesus asleep. But then I remembered I read Psalms 121. It says, 121 verse 3 to 4. It says, he will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. So what are you experiencing things in your life? Remember that God is aware of what you're going through. But he said, fear not. Because he's not sleeping. He's aware. But he said, trust me. Because I'm going to take you to where you should go. So just sit back and just let me take charge and control. So we got to surrender everything to him. We got to learn to trust God. We got to learn to have faith in him. Knowing that he's going to take you wherever he promised to take you. So in verse 38. They said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And then I remember that in Exodus 14, verse 10 to 14 said, 10 to 14, where the children of Israel were crying unto the Lord because they were now at the Red Sea, and they wondered if he was going to make them die here. He should have left them stay in Egypt and suffered slavery. Because they never knew that he was going to be able to take them across the Red Sea. But I'm telling somebody, if he took you here, he's going to take you through it. And if he took you through it, you're going to make it. So don't you worry about what's going on around you. Because God's going to take it through it. Because he said the enemies you see today, you're not going to see them no more. He's telling somebody, if the enemies you see today, you're not going to see them no more. So don't worry about what you're leaving behind you. You sit in that vessel and allow Christ to lead you to where he wants you to go. You surrender all to him because he's able to take you where he wants you to go. And verse 39, and he arose and he rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased and there was a great calm. And I'm telling someone, so guess what? the person who is in the vessel with you, who is that in the vessel with you? He's in control of everything. And there's nothing that's too big for him to handle. There's nothing that's impossible for Christ. There's nothing that's impossible for him. So whatever's going on with you, you're going to trust him. But sometimes he gets up in the midst of the storm. He gets up in the midst of our journey. Not because he has to get up, not because he feels that the vessel's not going to take you where he wants you to go, but because he knows in order to appease us, in order to make us feel comfortable, he gets up and he says, peace be still to the winds and to the storms. So sometimes in the storms of life, when God stops things and he calms you and he reassures you and he brings some of the things that he never had to bring at the time, but you cried out to him, he did it because he just wants you to be happy and to be at peace at the time. But he knew where the destination is and the journey is not over. And the storms are going to come, the winds are going to come from every side. But I'm going to tell somebody, remember who's in that ship with you. And the waves are going to come and it seems like the water is coming in and that ship look as if it's going to sink with you. But let me tell you something is there's nothing that can sink the ship than Christ is in the midst of it. It might seem like it's too heavy for you. It might seem like it's impossible for you to go across. But let me tell you something. With Christ in the vessel, you can smile at any storm. With Christ in the vessel, everything is possible because there's nothing impossible without God. I've been through a lot of storms in my life. I'm still going through a lot of storms in my life. And while I'm sitting in that boat with him, it's turning me and it's changing me and it's molding me. He's been a part of my life as I travel with him to the other side. And a lot of times I've lost faith. A lot of times I cried out. I said, Father, where are you? I feel like I'm doing this journey by myself. But then when I read the word of God and I remember that I should fear no evil, for he is with me. His rod and staff will always comfort me. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm not going to fear no evil because I know who's there with me. So I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. Every day he works on me. Every day there's a little something about me that he chips away to make me into what he wants me to be. But I'm learning to surrender to him, to allow him to chastise me if he has to spin me if he has to, spin out of some of the things that don't belong inside of me out of it. So we all got to let Christ take charge of our lives and allow him to make you what he wants you to be and trust him as you take the journey with him that he's going to take you to the other side. Because there's no other time but now for you to get into that vessel with him as he says, come with me. You follow him because he's able to take you to the other side. So if he brought you to it, he will take you through it. And he rebuked the winds and they were still. Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid? You serve an all-powerful, all-knowing, and merciful God. Trust in Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6 says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. You trust God, and he take you through the storms. And no matter how the winds may blow, and the waves might come and rock that ship, you remember who is in there with you. With Christ in it, you can, and we will, get through this storm. Love you all. Have a blessed weekend. Blessed one, everyone. Good night.